What my Tuesday looks like as a remote closer living in Dubai. In this video, I'm just gonna give you a breakdown of what I get up to day as a closer. So what is remote sales? So let me address what remote sales is. And I've said it a lot on this channel, but I'll address it again. Remote sales is closing deals for a company online, okay? Many businesses now operate online. Influencers selling training courses, dentists selling training packages, AI calling systems for businesses, marketing agencies, app building companies. Many businesses now are operating online and they need a remote closer to get on a call with a prospect that's interested to buying their service, and a remote closer closing the deal and keeping 10 to 20% of the deal. That is why this industry is growing massively, because everyone is operating online. And they need a remote closer to jump on a call with their prospects and close the deal. And what's good about remote sales, AI is not replacing a closer. They're just not. Prospects are not getting on a call to speak to an AI robot. They want to speak to a human being. That is why this industry is not getting replaced by AI anytime soon. So today I've had 4 calls booked in. And what I do, once I wake up, I reach out to those prospects to let them know they've got a call with me today. If you're in this industry already, where a lot of closers mess up is thinking it's just a setter's responsibility to make sure the lead shows up. It's just as important for you to reach out to that prospect to make sure they'll show up. Because if a prospect doesn't show up, it's impossible you're gonna earn. So you've got to put your all in to make sure a prospect shows up. So I've had 2 calls today, 1 close, 1 not a close. So another thing I do every single day, I reach out to every single student in the program every day to make sure they're satisfied, to make sure they're doing well in the roles that they're in, and to make sure they're keeping on top of training. The reason why I do this every single day is because these people trusted in the program. I've got to fulfill them. They've invested into this, and I've got to make sure their investment is giving them a return back, no matter what. So this is where I take my calls. The reason why I left my 9 to 5 for remote sales is mainly because to get my time back. It didn't sit well with me to know I need to request time off to go on holiday, to spend time with myself. I've only got 4 weeks in a year not working. The maths just didn't make sense to me. And another thing I didn't like was someone having control of me. What do you mean I have a manager? What do you mean I have to listen to everything this person says? If I want to go to the toilet, I've got to let them know why I'm leaving the office. It just didn't make sense to me. I just always believed I'm not on this earth to listen to orders and get paid pennies in return for my time. It just didn't make sense to me. So I went all in remote sales. One thing I really advise, once you start remote sales, well, you know when you hold the phone like this, your shoulders aches. So let me get back to it. What I'm trying to say here is, when you start remote sales, don't just go all in on remote sales, drop your 9 to 5, because that's stupid. Remote sales takes time. This is not something that happens overnight. So when you're doing your calls, what's really good about remote sales, let's say you're in the UK and you're on a US offer. By the time you finish your 9 to 5 at 5 p.m, you can then start doing calls in remote sales after your 9 to 5. When you see remote sales works for you and you're making consistent money monthly, you can then make that jump to leave your 9 to 5. I was doing remote sales for about 6 months before I left my 9 to 5. Let's give a scenario. Let's say you earn 2,500. Shoulders are aching. Okay, let's say you earn 2,500 a month. Okay, you can then say to yourself, I need to make 3,500 every month with remote sales to be able to leave my 9 to 5 consistently as well. Not just one lucky month. You've got to be making this consistently to then decide, let me leave my 9 to 5. The worst thing you want to do is going all in on this and you can't afford your bills and you're actually shit at remote sales, right? So let's say you need to make $4,000 a month. You're on an offer and it's $3,000. You're closing at, out of all the calls you get booked in, industry average, you're closing 30%. So you need to realize you need to be doing about 15 calls a week. 15 calls a week, that's 60 calls a month. At 30%, that's closing 20 calls in a month. Let's drop it down a bit. Let's say you close 15 calls out of those 20. 15 calls out of those 20, you're closing a $3,000 product. That is closing 15 times 3. That's $45,000 in commissions. Minimum you're getting as a closer is 10%. That's $4,500 you've earned in a month. Yes, it sounds simple, but those are the numbers you need to be hitting to be able to leave your 9 to 5. And it's not that difficult. If you on an offer where there's consistent leads, it's a good offer, you know what you're selling, you have conviction in what you're selling, those numbers are very achievable to do in a month, and it's 30% closing rate. One thing that was really hard for me was to leave a stable income. And it's easy to say, but it's very difficult to just leave something that's stable. But one thing you've got to remind yourself is, worst case scenario, it doesn't work out. You just go back to your 9 to 5. That's the worst case scenario. And you're currently living the worst case scenario. I know I said this in my previous video when I was in Bali, but so like, just go for it, but don't just drop your 9 to 5 straight away. I know I'm saying it again. Do remote sales and fit it around your schedule. You see it works, and then you leave your 9 to 5. And I will be honest, it is an industry where there's no like HR, there's no something where you have to stay in the job, probation. You can just get kicked off an offer. You can, that does happen. But if you know your skills is right, you've been in the industry for a year, it's easy to get on another offer. There's loads of offers available. If you have the right coach, you're in the right communities, you can always be put forward for more offers. So what I get up to in the evenings, I just go for an evening stroll every single day, without a doubt. Harry, evening strolls every single day, not a doubt in it. Every day. That's what we get up to in the evenings. Main reason is just enjoy, man. Enjoy what Dubai's got to offer. And living in downtown, you experience Dubai totally different compared to staying in JVC. I used to stay in JVC, and it's good, but you don't really see all the buildings, all this cars driving. It's a nice atmosphere. It's electric. So what I like about living in Dubai is the time zone. The time zone's really good, especially if you're speaking to UK people. I speak to a lot of UK people, do a lot of business with people in the UK. I really love the UK. I really loved it. But the way I seen it was, I needed to leave my comfort zone. I was very comfortable. I was living at my mum's, I wasn't paying rent. I knew I didn't have to make money for a month and I'll be okay. Because I'm at my mum's, food's on the table, bills are paid. But as you get older, and as a man as well, you need to put yourself in a situation where you don't know what's gonna happen. There's uncertainty, and that's the beauty in life. You've got to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. So yeah, but the negative thing about living in Dubai is when I'm speaking to someone in the US, closing for a US offer, I could be up till about 3 a.m. It's not the best, but I'm not complaining. But yeah, that's one negative side about living in Dubai when you're speaking to US offers. So in the US, EST time zone, you're about 8 hours ahead. In some places in America, we're talking about 12 hours ahead. I used to stay in Bali though. I stayed in Bali for about 2 months. What was bad about living in Bali was, don't get me wrong, it's very cheap, but the time zone's a killer because you're 8 hours ahead of UK. So let's say if I'm speaking to someone in the UK at a normal time at 5 p.m, it's about 2 a.m. for me. And if I'm speaking to someone in the US in the EST time zone, I'm like, what was it? It was like 13 hours ahead. So I was sleeping at like 6 a.m, waking up at 12 p.m. It wasn't really good. So if you're a closer and your goal is to move to like Bali, Thailand, be very cautious about what role you get on. Maybe it's best to be on a UK offer, or there is quite a lot of Australian offers you can get on. If you're looking to move to like Thailand, Bali, them areas where the time zone's a killer. What I did to get here, I tried everything, you know, man. I tried drop shipping. I even tried OFM once, OnlyFans management. I tried trading. I tried quite a lot of things, but one thing I realized I used to fuck up on, I'll try something that when it got a little bit difficult, I'll just quit. I'll be honest, I just did that. But then I went all in on remote sales. And the reason why I picked sales is because not only the money aspect, but because you're becoming more of a people person. Your communication's better. You're not an introvert. You're able to speak to random people on the street because you have that skill of not being awkward, of speaking to new people every single day. Most get-rich-quick schemes like trading, what else is there? Trading, even OFM. You're just an introvert. You're just in your room, stuck in all day, not really speaking to people. So not only sales, the money aspects, you become more of a people person. You become more sociable, which is really important nowadays. I would be lying if I said I'm a hard worker, up all night, grinding, hustling. I'm just more of a smart worker. Going all in on something. If you go all in on something and you spend 3 hours a day on that one thing, just 3 hours a day, in a year's time, you'd be an expert in that one thing. Life is about consistency, not putting your fingers in so many pies and learning so many things at once and hope one of it works. Just stick to one thing. That is how I got here. I realized my method of trying everything, hoping something works, wasn't working. So I went all in on just one thing. That's all you need to do. So in this video, I really want to just tell you what I get up to day. And not every day is the same, man. That's the beauty of it. If you're in something right now and you're tired of doing the same task, the same repetitive thing every single day, and you know deep down you're meant for more, you're tired of trading your time for pennies, click the link below, answer a few questions, and if you're a good fit, let's work together. And also, if you're in a 9 to 5, you enjoy your 9 to 5, you don't want to drop it, you like the security, but you know you want to make a little bit more extra money on the side, click the link below, apply. If you're a good fit, I'll reach out to you and we'll have a chat.